Delving further, the petitioner's submission that legislative majority cannot at all be taken into consideration has to be considered. The petitioner has placed reliance on paragraph 102 to 111 of Subhash Desai Supra in support of this submission. However, a careful reading of Subhash Desai Supra shows that the said submission is misplaced. Paragraph 102 to 111 of Subhash Desai Supra deals with the issue of who appoints the leader and the whip of the party in house. In the said regard, it was held by the Honorable Supreme Court that it is not the legislature party but the political party which appoints the whip and the leader in the house. The ratio cannot be read to mean that the legislative majority cannot at all be considered while determining the preliminary issue. In paragraph 168 of the Subhash Desai Supra, the Honorable Supreme Court has in clear terms laid down that for the purpose of disqualification petition, the Speaker, while deciding the issue of real political party, has to take into consideration the leadership structure specified and identifiable from the constitution of the party along with the legislative assembly majority. The only rider provided is in the said paragraph 168 was that determination of who the real political party is must not be based on a blind appreciation of legislative majority. This is only a rider provided so as to make it clear that even the leadership structure outside the legislative assembly is also a relevant factor in the determination of who the real political party is. It also indicates the legislative majority. It also indicates that legislative majority is also a factor that is not prohibited from consideration. Thus, the submissions of the petitioner that legislative majority cannot be taken as a factor in arriving at a decision on the preliminary issue is not correct and hence rejected. Needless to mention that it is well settled by Supreme Court that where the question arises as to which group is the party, strength of each group becomes an important and relevant factor. It is thus obvious why the legislative majority becomes relevant creation to be taken into account to decide which faction is the real political party. In the present matter, the legislative majority is undisputed. The respondents claim that Ajit Pawar faction had the support of 41 out of 53 MLAs is not disputed by the petitioners. Even otherwise, the resolution dated 30th June 2022 passed by the Ajit Pawar faction shows that prior to joining the government, Ajit Pawar faction outnumbered the Sharad Pawar faction. It is also imperative to note that the very fact that the Sharad Pawar faction has filed disqualification petitions against 41 MLAs of the Ajit Pawar faction itself indicates the numerical strength of each faction. Further, the respondents' assertion that they have majority in the Legislative Assembly of Maharashtra, Legislative Council of Maharashtra and Legislative Assembly of Nagaland has not been disputed by the petitioners. It is made clear at this juncture that affidavits annexed by the respondents to the affidavit in lieu of examination in chief of Sri Anil Bhaidas Patil RW2 was not taken on record and thus not relied upon for my finding that prima facie Ajit Pawar faction had the legislative support. The respondents' assertion that even the vote share secured by the legislators supporting the Ajit Pawar faction is sustainably large than the legislators supporting the Sharad Pawar faction is also not disputed by the petitioners. It is to be also noted that the petitioner has not claimed legislative majority in the manner and has not even attempted to demonstrate it. Thus, in view of the above, I hold that preliminary issue as to which faction is the real political party is discernible from the legislative majority which existed when the rival factions emerged. Further, I hold that the Ajit Pawar faction had an overwhelming legislative majority when the rival factions emerged. Final conclusions on the preliminary issue. Thus, in view of my findings that the party constitution and leadership structure, organizational structure does not provide any reliable outcome to the question which faction is the real NCP political party, and consequently these cannot be yardsticks to determine which faction is the real political party, and 2. The legislative majority provides a clear and reliable answer to the question of which faction is the real NCP political party, I hold that the Ajit Pawar faction is the real NCP political party for the purposes